What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Breaking and Entering Podcast. We are doing a Week 16 recap. Also, Jake Paul lost his fight. He got dropped against Anthony Joshua. I love to see it. My Commanders lost, and I'm happy to see that. I want us to lose out, basically, so we can get better draft position since we stink. But we're going to get all into it today, man. Brandon, how we doing today?
Not so good. Not another victory Tuesday over here, and I'm almost in the same boat with you. I'd rather just lose out at this damn point because if we go to the playoffs, we're probably gonna get embarrassed either way. So just go on, get it out the way. I mean, the only hope we got now is the status of Jordan Love for this coming week, and then DK Metcalf won't be on the field more than likely unless the suspension is changed. For week 18, which he tore us apart. So I'm still sure both those teams can beat us, but let's get to it, man.
All right.
All right, the opening drive. A lot of news going on, everyone. DK Metcalf, he's been suspended the final two games of the regular season for a sideline altercation with a Lions fan. Rams, um, they've decided to fire their special teams coordinator Chase Blackburn. Saints wide receiver Chris Olave says he's contemplated retirement after several um, concussions last season. Chargers linebacker Denzel Perryman, he's been suspended two games for repeated unnecessary roughness penalties. The Chiefs, they've agreed to move to Kansas in 2031. They'll be leaving the state of Missouri. Seahawks linebacker Derek Hall, he will miss Week 17 against Carolina after he was suspended for stepping on a Rams player. His suspension was upheld. JJ McCarthy, he will not play Christmas Day against Detroit as he nurses an injury to his throwing hand. Justin Fields, he's been placed on injured reserve. And Giants defensive line coach Andre Patterson, he's battling prostate cancer. Said he's feeling better, but he's been in treatment since the spring. Prayers up for him, man. That prostate cancer, nothing to play with. Any form of cancer, obviously, but I think it kind of hits home with me. My father passed away in 2020 of prostate cancer, so I know some of the treatments, that he's going through for sure. Any other thoughts? Let's open the drive in.
Yeah, definitely hope Coach Patterson can get through that. Also, Chris Olave being candid about how he was contemplating retire because I definitely remember a couple of the concussions where he was basically knocked unconscious during the game. This is 100% injury rate, uh, ladies and gentlemen. Just reminds me of the Denver game against the Jaguars. One of the last plays of the game, rookie wide receiver for the Broncos, Pat Bryant, he pretty much got knocked out, and they had to carry him out on a stretcher from the big hit he took from the Jaguars defense. So, it ain't no games out there, man. It's sad when you see players get knocked out like that, and they have to think about things like that and how it can affect them in the future later down the line. So, it's tough. And I hope Chris Olave does continue to play and he can remain healthy. That's all I got though.
For sure, injuries suck, man. For sure, 100%. All right, Bucks Panthers. It was the marquee matchup in the early window on Sunday. I'm sure Ed was furious with Baker Mayfield after the Bucks fell to the Panthers 23-20.
Yeah, just another week the Panthers make me look like a clown, ruin my parlay, however you want to say it, man. You look at this game, look at the stats of this game. It's not like the Panthers dominated this game. I think they only led in like one category, which was like passing yards, but the Bucks pretty much didn't let them run the ball over them. They even dominated the time of possession, but the Panthers made more plays when they needed to make plays. On defense, they have a timely blitz and get a sack on Baker Mayfield or force him to make a bad throw or, just Baker on himself, not getting things done. And sort of the Panthers, specifically that right before the first half ended, they got that touchdown. Jamel Dean got beat on a goal route by the rookie wide receiver for the Panthers, McMillan. I just like, come on, man. You cannot let something like that happen. Just tough, very tough way to lose a game. Not saying that was the reason they lost, but that definitely was a big contribution in why the Bucks lost this game. But the Panthers, man, is just like every week. One week they turn the light switch on. The next week they turn the light switch off. Next week they going against the Seahawks, I believe, and they probably gonna get blown the hell out. So I'm gonna talk about that more Friday. My parlay of the week. Yeah, I'm doing it again. I'm going against the Panthers again, damn it. I don't care. We on the Tuesday show. Let me get back to this game before I go off on a tangent. Like you said, I was pissed at Baker. It was a miscommunication. I'm talking about that last play of the game for the Bucs. Was a miscommunication with Mike Evans. Mike Evans, turned around. They were basically trying to do a scramble drill. Uh, Baker Mayfield thought he was going to keep going towards the sideline, and he threw it. But Mike Evans, as soon as he threw the ball, turned to go the other across the field, and the Carolina Panthers defender picked off and basically ended the game. Just like, oh my God, man. And then Baker himself, he ran the ball a little bit. He had some timely runs. But going into the fourth quarter, he had like 70 yards passing. I don't know what's going on now because they got Mike Evans, they got Chris Godwin, they got Jalen McMillan, they got the stud rookie wide receiver. And I don't know what's up with the passing game right now. They ran the ball a little bit. Rashad Wright had a big run. Irving, he had 71 yards rushing. I think Sean Tucker scored a touchdown. But for some reason, just this team as a whole, just I don't know, man. Maybe the Todd Bowles did lose the locker room. I'm not sure, but it's just they're not in a good flow right now. They still have an opportunity. We'll see how they go 2 weeks from now when they play the Panthers. But like I said, the light switch is probably going to turn off against the Seahawks. But then they play the Bucs again, they're going to turn it right back on. And I honestly got the Panthers sweeping them and making it to the playoffs just the way they've been playing. But we'll see how it goes. Good win for the Panthers. Another tough loss for the Bucs. They had a few losses like this where they lose it at the end of the game or a very close game. So I don't know, man. They're definitely in a bad position right now. Brandon, what were your thoughts on this game, though?
Undefeated no more, y'all. Baker was 4-0 against the Panthers as the starting quarterback of the Bucs heading into this game. Let's make that 4-1. I think the difference in this game to me was the lack of execution by Tampa Bay and Carolina's ability to make big plays. Baker's lone interception in the fourth quarter was a miscommunication, as you mentioned, between him and Mike Evans. The big plays for Carolina, you had the one you mentioned, the touchdown to Ted McMillan right before half, literally, I think 20 seconds before half, give or take. His third quarter touchdown to Jatavion Sanders. He eluded three defenders and stepped up in the pocket. Bryce Young did to find Sanders wide open. And then the third quarter, another big play to McMillan. It wasn't a touchdown, but I think it was on the right side, put them in scoring position again. Um, Carolina, they also did a good job of handling those Tampa Bay wide receivers. You mentioned Mike Evans, Abuka, Chris Godwin. They all had pretty good amount of receptions, but not many yards out there. Bucky Irvin, he had a solid game though. Baker, he had a few big time runs, honestly, but it just wasn't enough all in all. I picked Carolina, but I wasn't confident. I do think that seat is starting to get a little bit hotter down there for Todd Bowles and their general manager. I know they was talking about in the pregame, I think on Fox, if I'm not mistaken, about how they're going to evaluate the head coach and the general manager, like any team does. But it's just even more of a storyline now with these losses starting to pile up for Tampa Bay. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, you mentioned Carolina; they got a big test coming up next week against Seattle for sure. We'll be have some fun unpacking that game later this week.
Yeah, let me give a quick shout out to Bryce Young real quick because I mentioned him a lot as a game manager, but he's definitely making plays. He's becoming like a playmaker, in my opinion. He had some plays against the Rams. I had pretty much a game-winning touchdown pass against the Rams. Beat my old cornerback Emmanuel Forbes. But yeah, let me give a quick shout out to Bryce Young out here doing his thing, making plays when it counts. All right, everybody. This episode is brought to you by Premium, a CBD and wellness company. Check out their full line of CBD infused products, which make great stocking stuffers for the upcoming holiday season. Perfect for athletes, weekend warriors, soccer moms, and even armchair quarterbacks. They have CBD infused honey, which is a personal favorite, as well as tinctures and mint and regular flavor. Most importantly, they are veteran and women owned, so Kim get some of the sweet hemptation and taste a premium difference. Use code B&E for 15% off your order. Their website is premium.com. And now let's get back to our show.
What a game in that Saturday late game. Excuse me, I was going to say matinee, but that was y'all. Chicago, they made a fourth quarter comeback to win in overtime over the Packers 22-16. I think I'm finally gaining some respect for Caleb Williams, what he can do after this game. That 46-yard touchdown pass to DJ Moore in overtime, it was one of the best pinpoint accurate plays that we've seen from him this season. Before the play, literally, I was thinking, man, they about to try to, put the nail in the coffin, try to end it here, take a shot, and sure enough, they did. Down 10 in the fourth quarter. They started first with the field goal. They had no other choice but to go for the onside kick, which went off the hands of Romeo Dobbs. Chicago recovered. 8 plays later, it was a touchdown to Jade Walker, which pretty much sealed that it was going to overtime at that point. But it's honestly amazing how things work out in this league, man. 2 weeks ago, they played Keyshawn Nixon, ended the game with an interception in the end zone. Saturday night, he got beat on that DJ Moore touchdown in overtime, man. Tough break for him. Got to give credit to both teams, though, in my opinion, for fighting through adversity. Green Bay entered the game without Micah Parsons. That was all the talk leading up into this one on TV. They also lost Jordan Love in the second quarter, the franchise quarterback. Malik Willis, though, I think, in my opinion, he played good. You know what I'm saying? They did run the ball a lot when he came in, and he even, took some what looked like were designed passes and took off and used his legs, and it was doing pretty good for them. And Chicago on the other side, they came in without their number one wide receiver, who they've been missing a lot this season, Roma Dunze. They did show him a lot on the broadcast, but overall, good win for the Bears. Sucks for the Packers, man. I was the only one to pick them in my picks league, and I got burnt. I
Mhm.
still believe in them to at least hopefully get in the playoffs, make some noise. Um, but it's another tough loss for them. Ed, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I don't think the Packers can afford any more injuries. I think Malik Willis, each time he plays, he's extending his career more and more. If he doesn't get on the Packers again next year, I'm sure some team will use him. Maybe he is as a starter, but he definitely proved he's a backup quarterback and can hang in this league. Josh Jacobs pretty much got shut down this game. It looked like Emmanuel Wilson was the lead back. I don't even think they used Josh Jacobs in the overtime period. It was just Emmanuel Wilson and the other guys out there. Like you said, DJ Moore, Caleb Williams made a perfect pass to end the game. And it's kind of funny because, it looked like DJ Moore was upset that first game they played against the Packers where, Keyshawn Nixon intercepted the ball when Caleb was trying to get it to the tight end, I believe, who was in the end zone. And DJ Moore kind of looked like he was getting open. He kind of looked upset like he should have got the ball. But Caleb definitely made up for it. For them. And then the defense of the Bears, even though they were going against Malik Willis, they still did what they needed to do to come out there to win. Like you said, this is a good win for the Bears. I'm, throws like that, the one that Caleb Wade made at the end of the game, pressure situation, overtime, big time throw, man. You could definitely see, okay, he shows you flashes, but for some reason I'm still not completely sold on him. I think that was an amazing throw, big time NFL league throw, but do I think Caleb has enough right now to get them over the hump? Not right now, not yet. Give him a few more years. We'll see how it goes. I'm probably being a little biased too, since they beat my Commanders in heartbreaking fashion. But honestly, I don't know about the Bears just yet. They're gonna make the playoffs for sure, but yeah, we'll see how it goes when they get to the playoffs. And then the Packers, man, like I said, can't be losing too many more games, or have too many more injuries because even if y'all make the playoffs, again, y'all could be out of there too. That helmet to helmet hit Jordan Love took. Hopefully he's able to play again next week because concussions usually they give you the next game off. That's how it seems to go, especially for quarters. But I know it's late in the season, and this is the time of year where you need to play, especially when you're trying to make the playoffs and you need to get that you know chemistry and the consistency down and everything like that. So I'm wondering if we'll be able to play next week or not. So I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on that. But definitely a good win for the Bears. I know Ben Johnson was happy to get a win over Matt LaFleur. And we'll see how it goes at the end of the season and how these teams shake out. All right, everybody, let's talk about this Steelers and Lions game. A little bit of controversy at the end of the game, but offensive pass interference was called on Amon-Ra St. Brown. and the Steelers were able to walk out of there with a win. We did have some little bit of controversy, as you mentioned in the open drive. DK Metcalf is going to be out the next 2 games after he had that altercation with the fan. I say this, man. We don't know exactly what the fan said. There's video, multiple angles of what it looked like and everything. But I kind of think it back to what Charles Barkley said on Inside the NBA, that you should be allowed to take a fan out of the stands.
These fans say, let's take them right down to center court for 5 minutes. I've always said that. Some of the crap they say to you, hey, just give me 5 minutes to center court with them until say, you ain't gonna press no charges. Nobody gonna get it. Ain't nobody gonna be sued civilly. Say what you just said to me right to my face right here for these 5 minutes. I'm gonna beat your ass, beat the hell out.
And ask them to say what they said in the stands and then beat the hell out of them. I think they should be allowed to do that. Now, don't get me wrong. I know fans pay their good money. And basically what makes the league is, they're supporting everybody. They're the ones that's bringing the money in. So, there's a certain level of I earned this ticket and I should be able to do what I want to. But at the same time, this freedom of speech stuff got people talking crazy and they think they can just get away with it. Yeah, you free to say whatever the hell you want to. Now, if somebody want to two-piece you in the face because of it, hey man, that's just how it can go sometimes. But at the same time, you can't be hitting fans. So it's a tough boat. I kind of wish DK didn't get in trouble for it, but at the same time, you gotta control yourself. You gotta be bigger than that, be more mature and stuff like that. Now back to this game. I was texting you because I told you I'm surprised that the Lions weren't able to run the ball like that. And then you reminded me that the offensive line of the Lions was banged up. I think they were on their third center, is what you texted me. So that made a lot of sense. Jameer Gibb was more effective catching the ball, as you see as it goes across our screen here. 10 catches, 66 yards. But they did not do too much in the running game. Yes, they had great numbers from Jared Goff, but when they're on full blast, on smoking 100%, that Sonic and Knuckles, Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery are running the rock, dominated time possession, controlling the clock, and they just weren't able to do that. And on the other hand, the Steelers, freaking Jalen Warren had almost his best game. He probably had his best game, and then Kenneth Gainwell out of the backfield catching the ball. They both were great. So I'm wondering if this is going to be what they look like. The Steelers, these two running backs are going to look like as the season goes on. Is this like Jalen Warren finally we're thinking this is what we're going to see all season? Because he had a hell of a game against the Lions. Now, don't get me wrong, they do have a lot of injuries. The secondary is all banged up, this, that, and the third. But at the same time, we got to give credit where it's due. And, Jalen Warren definitely had himself a hell of a game. And the Steelers are continuing to win games. This showdown against the Ravens, I know you think y'all going to lose, but I kind of think y'all going to lose too. But we'll get to that at the time when the time comes. But, yeah, good win for the Steelers. Like I said, some controversy at the end of the game. I don't want to say, let the guys play, because Amon-Ra definitely did push off a little bit and, things like that. So, if it happens, the ref got to throw a flag. So, hey, you got to do what you got to do out there. But good win for the Steelers, and I think the Lions are done. I think they still have a chance, but I don't know. I just think they're done. So we'll see how it goes. But Brandon, what were your thoughts on this game?
It's truly amazing how this league works, y'all. My Ravens ran over the Steelers defense a couple weeks ago for 217 yards. The week before that, Buffalo ran all over them for 249 yards. But it was Pittsburgh's run game that really had their best performance of the season against the Lions. 230 on the ground, led by Jalen Warren. You mentioned him. 2 carries of 45 yards on back-to-back plays. Man, that was something for sure. Kenneth Gainwell. This guy's a running back, you mentioned, but he continues to catch the ball out of the backfield, continues to make plays. He had a touchdown, of course. We all saw it running down the sideline. I think it was Anzalone was on him. It was going to the ground. The ball didn't hit the ground. He didn't hit the ground. Got right back up, ran for the touchdown, and 2 Detroit defenders just sitting there looking like, wow, like, what can we do, man? But despite that late game push by the Lions, it was the Steelers' defense, though, that propelled them to victory, man. I know they was kind of winded. I think it was, I feel like it was Tony Romo. I think they was on CBS. He was like, look at these guys. Like, the Steelers' defense is winded like they needed. And this was early in the fourth quarter. He was like, man, they just need to get a drive going. Now, at that point, Pittsburgh had the ball, and that was, I think, one of those times where uh, Jalen Warren broke loose for 45, so they did get a little bit of break. But Detroit, earlier in the game, they did not have a single first down in the third quarter. They really shut down this Detroit offense in the third quarter. Um, I know Steelers defense gave up a lot of plays in the fourth quarter. They nearly surrendered a loss, but they did enough to win when they needed to, man. Their defensive linemen, their corners, and even their safeties, they all got their hands on the ball multiple times, nearly had interceptions, man. Jared Goff, man, I know the numbers were high during the 64 yards, 3 touchdowns, but he nearly had multiple interceptions that entire game, especially in the back end of it. But yeah, in the end, saw a stat line on the TV, man, that Pittsburgh, they've never lost a game under Mike Tomlin with a fourth quarter lead of 14 points or more. Um, Good win for the Steelers, man. Continue to put you know, a, make it hard for their division foe, the Ravens, my team, to possibly make a run at this division. They won what they needed to. I did not anticipate them going into Detroit, one and winning like this, and two dominating them, especially on the ground like this when their run game hasn't been all that great all year. But again, Jalen Warren, especially Kenneth Gainwell lately, have been on point. Even big man, I talk about him a lot.
Darnell
The tight end.
Washington.
Yes, he even had a couple big catches and was trucking guys out there. Man, that guy's a force to be reckoned with. So that um, they got to be careful next week. They got the Browns, the Steelers do divisional, game. You always mention it. Never know how it's going to go, but that'll be something to watch for sure next week as they take on the Browns, the Cleveland Browns. There. All right, everyone. Let's give out some awards real quick. Offensive Player of the Week. Who you got?
I got to give it to the game last night. The quarterback for the 49ers, Brock Purdy, 5 touchdowns, 295 yards, I believe, through the air, man. So Brock Purdy is my offensive player of the week. How about you?
My guy, man, it's like a light switch. Sometimes he's on, sometimes he's off, but he's been on since their bye week. Trevor Lawrence, y'all, 23 for 36, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns. A place I did not think he was going to play good. I thought he was going to struggle against that Denver defense. It was close early on, but like pretty much halftime on, Jacksonville was in control of that game. Plus, he added 6 carries on the ground for 20 yards and a touchdown. Another multi-touchdown performance between the air and the ground for Trevor Lawrence down there with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they are soaring at the right time. Defensive Player of the Week.
Cornerback for the Houston Texans, Derek Stingley, pretty much was the difference in the game because they only beat the Raiders by 2 points, 23-21. That interception return for a touchdown definitely was a huge difference maker in the game. So Derek Stingley is my defensive player of the week. Well, what say you?
How about Jeffrey Simmons, y'all? Titans defensive tackle. Um, He had 3 tackles, 2 tackles for losses, 2 pass defense, but he also had a second quarter safety. That was the first of their points in this game. They ended up really blowing out the Kansas City Chiefs. He had that tackle in the end zone, Kareem Hunt for that safety that I was talking about. Again, got them on the scoreboard first, and they never really looked back. They were in control for most of this game, if not all of it. Special teams player of the week, Ed.
Rashid Shaheed, Seahawks wide receiver, also returned, man. That return basically changed the tide for the Seahawks and helped them come back and win against the Rams. So Rashid Shaheed is my special teamer of the week. How about you?
I've low key been talking about our special teams unit all season for their lack of tackling in the coverage on punt and kickoff. But it was third quarter, man. The Patriots, they tried a fake punt. Our guys, we blanketed the intended receiver. So the ball carrier or the quarterback, whatever you want to call it, ran to the right and was met by 3 or 4 Ravens, including the rookie Hummel, Ted Walker, a guy you talk about a lot, and others, man. Turnover on downs. Great play by our special teams unit. Not a lot of teams run fake punts on us because they know John Harbaugh is a special teams coach. We kind of specialize in that department. We're pretty good. So it was great awareness by everybody. That's my special teams players of the week. I guess you could say that, the special teams unit of the Ravens. How about a bonehead player call of the week? I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, we had a lot of options to choose from. I almost gave it to your Ravens for that attempt at whatever the hell they was trying to do. There was
Yeah.
something in the Seahawks Rams game, but I got to go back to the DK Metcalf taking a swing at that fan. That's just you can't do it, man. Even though I don't blame you, at the same time you just cannot swing on the fans because now, even though you getting suspended these last two games, that's a huge impact on your money. I was looking at some article. I think it was Adam Schefter talking about. I can't remember exactly who it was, but he could potentially miss out on like $20 million in guarantees this year and like 25 million next year just because of these
Yeah.
two games he's about to miss for that move with his fan. Who I think he said he has some history with when he's with Seahawks. He had to report him to security or something too, for saying something crazy to him. So he probably knew the guy from somewhere, just lost his mind a little bit. But he can't be doing that, man. So DK Metcalf, you got my bonehead player of the week and potential bonehead move of the year. Brandon, how about you?
Something about them Ravens tight ends, man. Just don't understand, man. Something about them and the pigskin, the football, whatever you want to call it, man. We driving in the second quarter just before halftime. Have two timeouts would have set us up at midfield pretty much. Andrews makes the catch. He's going to the ground backwards and throws it to somebody, right? And then when I first saw it live, I was like, oh God, another fumble, right? Okay, we've been fumbling all season. What else is new? But then after the game, I saw it and it was like he legit threw it, tried to, lateral, whatever you want to call it,
Fine.
to another guy. And then it was like I saw some comments online and they was like, well, it would have been a great play because the guy was actually open for a second. I was like, but it wasn't. Okay. We can't talk about what it would have been when it wasn't and we lost. Okay. What's done is done, man. I just don't understand. A couple weeks ago was Isaiah Likely going into the end zone and with the ball switching the ball with his hands. You can say the one with when Joey Porter knocked it out from behind and everybody's controversial was the catch or not. But this one here was clear as day. And I wish I had watched the post game press conference because I know John Harbaugh got that question. I haven't heard anything else about it. I kind of try to stay away from the TV the last few days as far as sports networks go because I'm just so fed up with this team right now. But I truly want to know, was that a play call or was that just an idiotic move? And I'm leaning towards both because Todd Monken liked to call them mind scratching plays where you're just like, what are you doing? And then Mark Andrews and some of our players have just been making those bonehead mistakes all year long. So my bonehead play of the week goes to Mark Andrews. It was DK Metcalf, but now I was like, yeah, you probably was gonna have him too. And then our game came on after that, and Mark Andrews did that, so that just eclipsed it. Mark Andrews, man, enough with me on this. Enough.
Yeah, I definitely think it was a design play because the way Mark Andrews reacted, it was like it was somebody else's fault. Because the way he looked at I think it was Zay Flowers he was trying to pitch it to. It was like Zay wasn't close enough or something. It was just Mark Andrews didn't look like he felt like he was guilty, or maybe he just thought the play was a dumbass move, and he was like, I knew this shit wasn't gonna work. But yeah, it didn't look like Mark Andrews, from my perspective, felt like he was to blame for it.
Still, I know it's under a minute. We still have two timeouts, plenty of time. We don't need those type of plays, and then
Yeah.
you just turn the ball over and lose points. We probably would have gone down at least got a field goal at the very least.
Yeah, I was scratching my head for sure on that.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Let's get into these other scores from Week 16. Seahawks, as we talked about, complete the fourth quarter comeback against the Rams, 38-37. Eagles win the NFC East for the second time in a row. First time that's happened in a while. After taking down my Commanders, 29-18. Bills head off the Browns 23-20. Chargers routed the Cowboys 34-17 in Jerry World. Titans destroyed the Chiefs 26-9. Bengals dominated the Dolphins 45-21. Saints won their third straight 29-6 over the Jets. Vikings outlasted the Giants 16-13. The Falcons topped the Cardinals 26-19. Texans survived against the Raiders 23-21. Jaguars snapped the Broncos' 11-game win streak with a 34-20 victory in Denver. The Patriots erased an 11-point fourth quarter deficit to beat the Ravens 28-24, and the 49ers handed the Colts their fifth straight loss 48-27, much to the delight of Brandon, who does not want to see Phillip Rivers win a single game anymore. Brandon, your thoughts on these scores?
You're right about that for sure. But let's look at this Bills Browns game, man. The Bills almost fucked around and lost. Man, I don't know why Cleveland didn't go for it on fourth down, and they was like fourth down in infinity. They literally was on their own 1 yard line, facing their own goalpost, but they had nothing to lose, man. You're already out of the playoffs. You already damn near got a top five draft pick. I believe it was a 4th and 32 play,
Mm.
and they decided to punt the ball back. I mean, again, nothing to lose. At the worst, they're gonna get the ball to 1 yard line and probably kneel on it at that point because they was already, they had sealed the game. If it was a turnover and downs, it's always, a lot of people probably in agreement. It seems like Kevin Stefanski just wants to see Shador Sanders fail. It honestly does. I mean, because what? Why didn't y'all just go for it? It didn't make any sense. Chargers, Cowboys, man. Um, Cowboys screwed me over again, man. I picked the Cowboys. I honestly thought that they was gonna, be able to handle this San Diego team. I believe that the defense is getting better, even though they had a hiccup in this game and last week. But I learned my lesson for sure. Bengals and Dolphins, man. Joe Burrow put up a clinic. I know it was against the Miami defense. I know their corners have been an issue all year long, but still, and maybe, just maybe, the Dolphins should have stuck with Tua Tagovailoa with the way that rookie quarterback played in that one against the Bengals defense, who, as you talk about a lot, is just as bad this year as it was last year, if not worse. Texans Raiders, man, close game there. Ashton Genty had himself a coming out party though. In a losing effort, it really gave Raiders fans some hope, at least in this one, despite the loss. You played one of the best defenses in the league, and he legit had himself a day. So that's something to hang their hats on over there in Las Vegas. Jaguars and the Broncos, man. I thought Jacksonville had a chance, but I didn't think it would be a blowout. Again, I mentioned it was pretty much after halftime. They took control of that game. And I think Bo Nix struggled as well in that one for sure. But got to talk about my Ravens real quick, man. Beating ourselves. I don't think that the Patriots beat us. I think we beat ourselves, man. Mark Andrews, again, whatever the hell that was before half, they need to throw it away, put it in the dumpster, start the fire inside the dumpster, and never look back at that play again. Humphrey being Humphrey, man, he got an interception, but he forgets how to play corner on damn near every other snap out there for sure. He even had one that's clear as day, pass interference. He didn't get called on. I can't remember. I think it was on Booty. Straight down go route on the right side, and like the way he landed, like he was just like sitting on the ground with Booty's legs over top of him, and then he wanted to snap throw the ball out like he really did, and take the ball out of the defender's wide receiver's hands like he really did anything, man. Man. I don't know, but Marlon Humphrey need to go. I think it's time for us to get rid of him, just like Brandon Stevens last year. Todd Monken, man, he must have a vendetta against Derrick Henry for sure. The Patriots off defense had no type of answer for him, but yet he was wearing a jacket for a good amount of the second half, especially the fourth quarter. I think he had a touchdown right there at the top of the fourth quarter. And from there on out, he was on the sideline. I know people I've been talking about using Keaton Mitchell and Rasheen Ali a little bit more, but when you got that finisher, he should be in there definitely in the latter part of the game to wear down that opposing defense. I just even if it's just the threat of him being in there, definitely on first and second down, there should be no reason why he's not in there in the latter part of the game. Zay Flowers, man, dancing around as soon as he get the ball in his hands, like he on Dancing with the Stars or something, man. Need to go sit down, get rid of that out of his game. I'll talk more about this in the season recap, man. It's just killing us, man, because he had that fumble at the end because he was dancing around instead of possibly getting down, or keep your feet moving. Don't just sit there and dance around in one spot. Look like Happy Feet Jamal Lewis back, after he got in trouble with the law. Tyler Loop, man, missed a 56-yarder. No wind, no crowd noise. That's a little bit concerning. I know he's been pretty much perfect. I think he's missed only 3 or 4 field goals all year, but at home, Again, the winds were calm. It's not good. But another game with virtually no pass rush, y'all. Drake May, he had enough time to really count the stars every time that he was back there to throw. He had so much time. I think we had one good sack on him that was more so of a coverage sack. We ran him out, pushed him out of the pocket to the right. I think Draymond Jones, if I'm not mistaken, got to him. And why were there so many Patriots fans at our stadium? It's kind of mind boggling. And, everybody may not have paid attention to it like I did. We were hearing MVP chants, man, every time New England had a big play. And they damn sure wasn't talking about anybody on our defense. Uh, at the most, it would have been Kyle Hamilton, but for sure it was Drake May. It was Patriots fans up in there, man. Our home field used to be a real advantage for us, and I think this year we are definitely 2 games under 500. I think we finished a 3-5 record at home this year, um, especially in those primetime games, man. Nobody used to come in there and beat us at home, man. It doesn't make any sense to me, and I haven't been to a game in a couple years. Um, Part of the thing I wouldn't go to many primetime games now because I work at night, including Sunday nights. But yes, I know got to keep my money where my mouth is. I should be going to games, supporting them too. But there's people living right up there in the city not going to the games, and that's I think also having a slight effect on our players as well. You sent me the video of I think likely walking to his car or whatever after the game, and he was like, we straight up ass or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, you got a good point, but what I'm saying, honestly, you shouldn't be saying that. You should be more like saying I'm playing like ass right now because you ain't really doing much either. I told you I'm more so on the damn third tight end at this point because Isaiah likely can't hold on to the football or he just playing fiddle with it as soon as he going over the goal line. And then Mark Andrews doing that dumbass shit he did um, right before halftime. Charlie Kohler is the only one that ain't made a mistake at the tight end position for us this year. And yes, we have 3 really good tight ends, but it's like, come on, man, y'all part of the problem too. But yeah, changes are definitely needed. Um, I'm almost on that verge of saying we need to just clean house with the coaching staff as well. But I gotta, see how the season ends up. Even if we go to the playoffs or somehow get in there, I don't know. It may be time to make a change because it seems like the message may be getting a little bit old. Seems like he may be losing his grip on this team. Um, Todd Monken, I think he's getting too old. I honestly do. He's done what he needed to. I think with this offense, he took us from a running offense to where nobody was threatened by us in the pass game, and he made us probably the top passing offense the last 2 years before this season, pretty much. But this year, it's just not been working, and it was some issues last year as well, definitely in the playoff game. Um, that divisional round for sure up in Buffalo. But yeah, I think some changes need to be made. I got to sit back and really think about whether I want the whole coaching staff going or what. I like Zach Orr. Don't get me wrong, I like John Harbaugh as well. But again, it may just be time. What, he's 17 years with us. Uh, yeah, it's tough. But like you said, it could always be worse. Which of these games caught your attention?
I'm gonna stick right behind you with your game. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of slack just because Lamar did get injured in this game. He didn't finish the game. So who knows what would have happened if he was able to play. And then I don't know if you saw, but he had some comments after the game, pretty much saying like he went down, and then the Patriots defender kneed him in the back, and that was the reason. He said he tried to take a Toradol shot, and that didn't help the situation. So we'll see if he's able to play next week. I wonder if y'all want to just shut him down. I know you said earlier you kind of want y'all to lose the rest of the games and just lose out so y'all can get better draft pick and whatever. But I'm wondering how they feel about Lamar if they want to sit him because he's been banged up a lot this year, dealing with multiple injuries himself. I know he hasn't practiced a lot. They'll give him a day or two off just so he can rest. So I wonder how that will go. Now let me get to my game. Specifically, Commanders fan, coaches crying about all the Eagles went forward on 2 and they're already up or whatever. Why don't you just stop the 2 point conversion? And you ever think about doing that? You ever to whoop some Eagles offensive lineman's ass? I did like that, but other than that, y'all get your ass whooped up and down the downfield. Um, Salute to Bobby Wagner. I think he finished top 10 in player voting. Greg Olsen give him a damn blowjob on the air, talking about he's got almost 2,000 tackles and he's only the third linebacker in NFL history to do this and that. I don't know. That's just great. Salute to Bobby Wagner. He getting all these tackles after first down, 20-yard gain. He gets tackled. I just salute to Bobby Wagner, man. He's got the Walter Payton Man of the Year award for the Commanders. So salute to him for that. As far as the Commanders, man, keep on losing. Hope we can get in this top 5 in a draft, and there's always next year. That's where I'm at with that. The rest of these games, though, let me just say this too. Fuck fantasy football, man. I mean, I was in the playoffs this week. I lost. The guy went against his whole damn team went off. He had Christian McCaffrey, DJ fucking Moore. We talked about the Bears the last play of the game. That got him like 11 points in fantasy football. I saw that, and I knew the game was over. I think that was a Saturday game, right? I knew from that point on the game was over. He also had Puka Nacua. I think I talked about a little bit last week, but man, fuck fantasy football, man. It's just you either win or you lose. It's a lot of luck involved, but man, I mean, I had Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, both of them. Jonathan Taylor did score a touchdown, but Josh Jacobs, he's beat up right now and things like that. But if anybody out there playing fantasy football, man, you know how it can be, man. It's just, oh my goodness. I can't look forward to basketball because the Wizards stink. So I just don't know what I'm gonna do, man. I was trying to be local, root for the Ravens, but y'all seem to be falling off too. Y'all, the wheels falling off for y'all. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. So we'll see how the rest of the season goes, y'all. That's all I got, though.
All right. Safe travels to all of our holiday travelers. Excuse me. I hope everyone has a great holiday season. We got 3 Christmas Day games: Dallas and Ed's Commanders from Northwest Stadium. We got another divisional matchup. Well, actually, we got all 3 divisional matchups: Detroit and Minnesota in the middle game, and then Denver and Kansas City will wrap it all up on Christmas. We'll talk more about these as well on Saturday. Plenty of football to go around with Houston and Los Angeles. Again, Saturday the 27th, as well as my Ravens go into Lambeau Field and take on the Packers. So yeah, we'll be back Friday to talk about those games and more. Please take a moment to hit the subscribe button on your screen. Follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Podcast B&E, and on IG at B&E Podcast. Until next time, love one another.
I might watch some Madden reruns instead of watching that damn Cowboys Commander games. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.